I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas.
I'm Greg Grugan in Houston.
And I'm Rudy Koski in Austin, and this is Texas. The issue is.
Early voting starts in just a couple of weeks in Texas, and I sat down with RNC co-chair Tommy Hicks to talk about how Republicans can try to take back Congress.
I'm really excited about the midterms. So if you look at what happened just recently with Texas 34, Mayra Flores, we won that seat. That's a seat that's been in Democrat hands for over a century, and she's the first Mexican-American woman ever to win a congressional seat.
What does the Republican Party have to do to take back Congress?
We're really building on our historic generational opportunity with Hispanic voters, with black voters. We are the party of freedom and prosperity for all Americans. Under President Trump's leadership and under Republican leadership in the Congress, we literally had the best growth economically we've ever seen in our country's history. We had real wage growth, like above inflation. It was unbelievable. Unemployment, all-time low. Amazing. We've got to get that back in place.
So President Biden, if he was listening to this interview, he would say unemployment is low right now. Of course, there is inflation. We saw gas prices starting to go down, but they're ticking back up. Do you think this election will be a referendum on the economy, or do you think it's a slew of issues?
Well, are you better off today than you were 20 months ago? No, you're not. And to President Biden, I would say, go pay attention to the law. Follow the law on the border. 5 million people have come across illegally. Unbelievable.
Of course, you're pro what Governor Abbott is doing as far as busing migrants to D.C. and Chicago and New York. Do you think that's a political stunt, though? I mean, they're here, which is a problem as far as those who have illegally crossed. But do you think busing them to other cities is that's not aiding or helping? Do you think that's a political stunt?
Look, people outside of Texas and Arizona and New Mexico and California don't understand exactly when they declare that they are a sanctuary city, they do not understand what that means. Martha's Vineyard now, with 50 people, now know what it means to have illegal aliens going into the country. And our country does not have the resources to handle this.
Do you think the Dobbs decision is going to energize Democrats and some Republicans who even are in favor of abortion in certain situations? Do you think the Dobbs decision will hurt Republicans in November?
I think that what the Dobbs decision did was give power back to the states, and that's what the American people, when we sign our contract, our Constitution with America, that's what we signed up for. And you know, my personal views don't matter, but your elected officials will matter.
Senator Cornyn broke with the majority of the Republican Party in passing some type of bipartisan reforms in the wake of Uvalde. Do you think more needs to be done in reference to changes with maybe gun ages or anything like that?
Well, I think you know, the Republican Party and our candidates typically believe in your Second Amendment rights, and that's a really good thing. And I think you can't legislate away evil. And what happened in Uvalde was awful.
But do you personally think the age should be raised from 18 to 21 to purchase an assault-style rifle?
I'm not a policymaker. I'm a person who helps Republicans win. But I think what we're doing is a good thing.
What do you think the headline will be after Election Day?
Taking back America. Republicans win.
It was a lot to unpack in that interview there. For now, Greg, what will be your one word to describe that interview?
Stephen, I'm going to go with dogmatic.
Okay. Rudy, what's your one word?
My gut reaction word initially was awkward and how that interview made me feel, but I will go more with a political miscalculation.